Let me know when you're up and running, Crystal, and we will open up.
So, well, you want
Just the meantime, yes.
I mean, it's just us. Go ahead, Ben. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
The special end of the year meeting for the town of Tustin to order. Chairman, first to the flag. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our payment of bills, the general fund expended $24,204.50. Highway $35,320.93. Water $7,882.50. Sewer $14,775.40. For a total of $82,183.33. I believe Jane and I looked at the bills.
no problem. I move to accept or pay the bills.
I have one question. There was a purchase of two encoders for the water department, and I just wondered what they were for. It was for $411. No, I already asked.
Okay.
Nobody knew. So,
I can find out from Dave.
yeah, okay, it's not a big deal. It's just, I just like to know what. Otherwise, everything else looks good.
Yeah, I don't have a good answer for that. I think I know what it is, but I'm not gonna say, since I don't know what it is. Okay. I have a motion to accept the bills as presented, a second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed. 2.1, Genius Logging Planning, Peter Manning, the planning services agreement. This is part of the UDC grant that we did for the zoning. And we approved that, but we did not approve me to sign his contract for it.
The contract is the second packet after your agenda.
And that has the zoning amendment, $1,500, and the adoption process of $1,200. The establishment of the Conservation Advisory Council and an advancement of the open space planning as per the comprehensive plan that we just completed.
Right, and that's all covered.
And these are all covered through the grants that you
Right.
applied for and have been accepted.
Mhm. Okay, I move that we authorize the supervisor to sign the contract.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any questions on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed. First agreement with the water and sewer department. Interim superintendent is due to expire. This is the exact same contract as written, but only for a 1-year period instead of a 2-year period.
Is there a reason for that?
He's hoping that we can get at least one of the 3 people that we've got to the point. Plus, we're also looking to move forward on these projects and get them, into the implementation phase. Which at that point, I think the board could then look at maybe taking him away as the operator of record and maybe move him into a position such as clerk of the works. Okay. This way we're not bound into a 2-year agreement with him. Hopefully we get those things moving so that, if he decides to leave at the end of the year, we don't scramble to find somebody.
Mhm.
Okay, I move that we authorize the supervisor to sign the contract with Dave Bones.
Any further questions on that? All in favor? Aye, opposed. 2.3, motion to move the Narragansett Water and Sewer billing clerk from the office of the bookkeeper to the office of the town clerk. This was what we discussed on previously. Any questions on that?
It isn't the billing clerk, it's the billing, I guess it is the clerk.
We could put whatever verbiage in there that you,
Well, I'm not sure it's the responsibility is what's gonna, you're moving the Narrowsburg Water Sewer and billing responsibility from the office of the bookkeeper to the office of the clerk.
correct.
You're not moving a person, you're moving.
We're moving the responsibilities
Responsibility.
there, but then we're gonna have that second appointment for the deputy town clerk,
Right.
which will be,
So I would just say billing responsibility, I don't know. Instead
yeah,
of-
okay, I understand what you're saying. That's good. Yes. Motion with the Narrowsburg Water and Sewer billing responsibilities from the office of the bookkeeper to the office of the town clerk.
I'll make that motion.
Second,
Second, I'll second that motion.
any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed. Which comes to the next part, town clerk approve a second deputy town clerk. And this is money that has been budgeted within the town clerk's budget.
That's
Will
right, water
come from
sewer.
that, which will be reimbursed from the water and sewer department for the purposes of utilizing the second town clerk as the billing clerk. Questions on that?
And this is Jocelyn
Yes.
Yeah.
and
So we
why
moved,
are we calling it a second deputy town clerk instead of a Narrowsburg Water and Sewer?
because she's not
billing?
working for the Narrowsburg Water and Sewer Department, she's working for the town clerk's office. In order for the town clerk to perform the function, it has to be by one of her clerks,
That's getting reimbursed by the water and sewer.
and being just like the bookkeeper was.
All right.
Any other questions? A motion to approve,
Make that motion.
a second,
Second,
all in favor,
aye.
opposed? We have a veteran here, request to become an alternate member by James Agar of the Zoning Board of Appeals. He is a regular sitting member, and I have a request on file from Neil Litkowski, who wishes to be appointed into the Zoning Board of Appeals. Neil was previously on I believe, Kevin, he was with you?
Yeah, he was the chair for a while.
He was, yes. A motion to accept the request from James Agar to move from a regular sitting member to the alternate member.
Second,
You can make the
I'll
motion.
make a motion.
Second?
You've been starting to make motions, so I just gave up on that. Second it. I'll make the motion.
A second on that?
Second.
Any questions on that particular part of it? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? And accept the motion to appoint Neil Litkowski to the vacated position of zoning board of appeals member by James Agar.
I'll make that motion.
A second,
I'll second.
any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
We have also a resignation letter from Kathleen Johnson from the planning board as an alternate member. Accept the motion to accept the resignation.
I guess we'll accept it. Make that motion.
A second,
I'll second
any questions, comments?
Her term was up, is that what? it-
As an alternate, it's up every year.
Oh, okay.
And actually, we're just going to appoint him. He's going to have to be reappointed anyway. All in favor of the resignation?
Aye.
Aye, opposed. And we had a request on file from Peter DeAngelis to become a planning board member.
Do we have it, really?
Yeah.
He said
He,
it?
he asked, yeah.
He also wanted to be on the zoning board of appeals, but I think the planning board is a better
Yeah.
start for him since he's got less experience. I would make a motion to accept the appointment of Peter DeAngelis as an alternate member to the planning board.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, budget modifications. Bear with me as we go through this. as our printer was not giving me everything I wanted. We're looking to increase SS 1910.0, which is reserve of 1,463, decrease 8197.2 is machine capital. 8110.1 personal services, increase 6136, and decrease the health insurance S 9060.8. SS 8130.2 equipment, increase 2411, decrease machine capital SS 8197.4. Also, out of machine capital, we are going to increase 8110.4 contractual expenses, SS 8120.4 contractual expenses and sewer collection, 8130.4 contractual expenses under sewer treatment and disposal, and SS 9035.8.
Why are we doing all this?
We have to zero out our budget at the end of the year. This is something that was only done once a year
Motion
before.
to approve the end of the year village budget. Oh, okay, this is not changing
No.
22.
No,
okay.
not changing.
Okay,
22
got
at
it,
all.
got it.
9030.5. I'm going a blank on finding that one. The Medicare. $507.
So what we're
For a
saying is,
total modification of $27,459.
so what we're saying is we overspent on the increase column and we're taking it
Correct.
from here to take it out. Okay.
Water. 1910.0, which is unallocated insurance, increase $665. We are going to decrease 83,972. Which is a machinery capital fund. That's going to get a decrease of 4790 in order to increase 8310.4, which is contractual expense administration by 1961, 8340.4, which is contractual expense transmissions and distributions, $90,3550, which is disability insurance, for a $4,790 transfer. Highway will increase DA 5130. .2, which is machinery capital. We're going to increase that 42,830, and we're going to decrease DA 5110.4, which is contractual expense under general repairs. DA 9035.8, which is Medicare by $79. That will decrease out of the capital repair for $42,909 transfers. General. Decrease of 2998 and 810.10.4, which is contractual expense for the town board. 2998, we're going to decrease a 1620.4, which is contractual expense building, $19,111. Increase 1110.13, which is the court officers. Decrease a 9010.8. And State retirement by 165, excuse me. A 1320.4, 10,650. Which is contractual expense, independent audit and accounting. That's because they gave us last year's bill this year. They got that in late, so that's the reason for that expenditure. Coming out of A 3620.1. Personal services, safety inspection by $12,609. And then the following will come out of A 3620.4, contractual expense for the safety and inspection for $432. A 1355.4 for $198. Which is contractual expense from the assessor. A 1410.4, contractual expense for the town clerk. A 1430.4, contractual expense for the bookkeeper. A 5182.4. Contractual expense for the street lighting, 89060.8. We finally 9060.9 there, I typoed that.
9060.8. That's town bookkeeper. What is it? A 9060.8?
Yeah, 9060.8.
Health insurance.
Thank you. 13,041, 1430.1. Personal services bookkeeper, 1940.2. Purchase of land under special items, and A 4020.4. Contractual expense attorney. A 7110.1.
What was 9060, Crystal?
Health insurance. Parks
which is
personnel.
maintenance personnel for the parks and playgrounds. And A 9030.8.
That's social security.
Social Security under employee benefits. For a total of $45,315 in transfers to balance.
So you took all that in consideration as we were going along, making the budget? to make it
Yeah, the new
look
budget,
safe?
yeah, we did a year to date on it.
Okay.
And we actually came out much better in our income this year, but that doesn't show up on this because all we're doing is our liability zeroing.
All right, I move that we approve the year-end budget modifications as presented.
Is there questions regarding that? Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? 2.8, we need to create an expense line for the ARPA funds. Just a motion to authorize the creation of an expense line for the ARPA funds. This is the money that we received for COVID-19. Originally, we were considered a non-reporting entity, but that has since changed, so that we will have to report what our money's been used on.
Okay, so I move that we create an expense line for the ARPA funds.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Recommendations on our resolution, if we just discuss that and,
No, this resolution?
yes,
No, there's typos in it. He's not the planning board, he's the zoning board, right?
we can, yeah, that we can take care of. Do we want to discuss that in the open session or we want to have an executive session? We have to read the resolution in the open session, so.
You're gonna
Yes,
adopt it in the.
and
yeah, so
I haven't had a chance to read it, so I would.
Take your time and,
I just read it.
that's
There-
that's fine. Take your time. I can,
Is that his real name? It's not Nico? So there's two places it has to be changed
okay,
that I saw.
I will, when I read it, I will make those changes as I read it.
The second one, the second one's on here. I'm confused.
Well, some sort of public meeting, I won't say anything about that.
No, I'm not sure, is it the title of 2.1 is ethics policy. So are we,
That's fine. It's all that is an agenda item.
okay, but
It could have actually just read ethics from plain to her.
well, I'm not, I guess my confusion is,
Thanks.
are we just making this about what we discussed? Or I don't understand why we're putting a suggestion in what we should do.
I think that is part of what we're doing. We as a board, as a current sitting board, are making a recommendation to the new board that's going to come, that maybe this needs to be addressed and changed as,
I agree
The board
with,
sees
I
fit.
agree with that. I just thought it should have its own separate resolution, that's all.
Well, it's all
Rather,
part,
what?
it's just enumerated as part, it's all part of a resolution. I mean, it's not really- That's form over, that'd be a matter of form over substance. I mean,
I think it helps to explain that we've got, I believe that it helps to explain that we've got a little ambiguity in there, which does have reference to this particular resolution. it helps to understand why that particular resolution came to that conclusion.
All right. I just thought it warranted its own resolution as well, but okay. All right, I mean, it's covered, so it's covered. Well, read on.
Get out just a minute or two. Then I can dump on him this from the comptroller's office, see if he can do it. I'll read it and then we can have discussion on it after that. Whereas by letter dated October 25th, 2021, and accompanying submissions, Robert Allman and Yunhee Vicky Allman made complaint to the town board alleging that Jen Torres, a member of the chairman of the town of Tustin zoning board of appeals, various provisions of the town of Tustin code of ethics by disseminating an undated letter in opposition to the candidacy of Yunhee Vicky Allman for election to the office of town council person in the November 2nd, 2021 election. And whereas Jen Torres by letter dated December 6, 2021, and accompanying submission from his counsel, Kitson and Schuler, PC, Peter Schuler, Esquire of counsel, responded to and opposed the aforementioned complaint of Robert Allman and Yunhee Vicky Allman. And whereas the town board heard an oral presentation made on behalf of Robert Allman and Yunhee Vicky Allman in support of the aforesaid complaint during a public comment segment of a meeting of the town board. And whereas the town board heard oral presentations made by Jen Torres and his counsel, Peter Schuyler Esquire, at a meeting of the town board held on December 14th, 2021. And whereas the town board has given due consideration to the submissions made by and on behalf of Robert Allman and Yunhee Vicky Allman with respect to their complaint and by and behalf of Jen Torres in opposition thereto. Now therefore be resolved that the town board of the town of Tustin hereby makes the following findings and determinations with respect to the complaint of Robert Allman and Yunhee Vicky Allman alleging violations by Jen Torres of the town of Tustin Code of Ethics and demanding the removal of Jen Torres as a member of the chairman of the town of Tustin Zoning Board of Appeals. 1, no basis been established for recusal of any members of the town board from consideration of the subject complaint. 2, the relevant issues raised before the town board by the subject complaint is whether or not Jen Torres violated section 22-7B of the town of Tustin Code of Ethics. 3, while it is clear that Jen Torres, by means of the letter he circulated, attempted to influence voters in an election, the language of section 22-7B of the town of Tustin Code of Ethics, particularly the words in uniform that immediately follow the words officer employee, are reasonably open to be interpreted by town officers and employees that the prohibitions within 22-7B apply solely in instances where a uniformed town officer or employee would engage in the prohibited conduct. Number 4, although the town board has been advised that there is legal authority supporting the ability of the town to restrict political activities by its unelected officers and employees, the town board at the same time recognizes that its unelected officers and employees also have the right of freedom of speech under the First Amendment of the of introduction. The sitting town board therefore recommends to the incoming town board that it evaluate whether the town of Tustin Code of Ethics should be amended to clarify its provisions so as to protect political free speech rights of town officers and employees, while at the same time avoiding even the appearance that such officers and employees are speaking on behalf of the town when exercising their right of free speech. Number 6, this determination is limited solely to the question of whether or not a violation of the town of Tustin Code of Ethics occurred. The town board has not considered and is not making any determination whatsoever with respect to the various accusations of private misconduct made by each of the parties against the other. This determination is not intended to constitute precedent in any pending or further future legal proceedings between Robert Ullman and or Yunhee Vicky Ullman and Jen Horace. Comments and discussion on that at all?
I think it's pretty clear.
I would make a motion.
This is necessary for someone. Somebody's going to come back and,
I would ask Ken that, but I believe that it would be.
can number 3 be eliminated?
What?
Can number 3 be eliminated?
You can do whatever you want, it's your resolution.
I don't know whether I would
I don't-
eliminate that personally,
wouldn't.
Jane.
I just,
Because I believe that there was an attempt and that it doesn't rise to the level of what we need in disciplinary actions. But that's only me. There's 5 of us up here.
I don't know. I just don't know if it's going to come back to bite us, that's all. It says the relevant issue raised before the town board by the subject complaint is whether or not Laura has violated the code of ethics. That's all I think you have to say.
I think we have to defend our position on why we are not.
You gotta make the finding,
Right.
you gotta support what you say.
It is important to say. Yeah.
It's important to support why we found the decision to do it.
Okay. All right, well, you know best.
You never say that to me.
No, I'm saying it to you.
Further discussion before a motion to adopt the resolution.
I think it's clear and it protects the board.
Motion to adopt,
I'll make that motion.
a second. I will second, all in favor? Aye, opposed.
Okay, I said aye. Now I see my problem with number 5 is now we just need, I think you should appoint, oh, I don't want to say this.
So that's the
Appoint
new board.
somebody on the new board to review the code of ethics.
I think our code of ethics should be reviewed by our attorney and with recommendations returned to the board.
Oh, all right, so
I think a person,
that will make me feel like it's the whole thing is nit.
yeah, that way, I believe it should come from legal counsel on how we develop the code of ethics, not from the lake.
Okay, so I'm gonna move that we request our town attorney to review our code of ethics and make recommendations.
Do you want to do it as this board or as a new board?
Oh, I don't care.
Probably
Is-
should be done by the new.
I think that would be the first action of the new board in
Okay,
the
we should
organizational
put it on
meeting,
the agenda then.
I can do that.
because this board is pumped into that board.
It's okay, as long as it gets done on the agenda. I got off that one.
Be right back. It's gotta come
Okay.
back soon.
Well,
You guys
Public
gotta
comment.
make the policy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well,
I will open the floor to public comments.
Just on this subject you were talking about, it is good that it's not ambiguous, because there's been political activity by zoning board people in the past. Tony Ritter ran for town board as a zoning board chair. You wouldn't want to make the idea that a zoning board person could be a political person. I think I wrote a letter about some political thing about you once. And then the whole book.
I find it hard to believe.
I know, but it was, it's, maybe if it was clearer, I wouldn't have done that, because I can see, in retrospect, that some people may come before the zoning board, which is sort of the jury of your neighbors, and see, oh, Kevin's got a political axe to grind, but I can't get a fair shake. I concur with the idea that it needs to be not.
There are some towns that have codes of ethics that don't even deal with political activity. They just don't get themselves involved in it.
Right. But, it's like ambiguity can lead to.
But yet there is some ambiguity in what we've got on the book right now.
Right.
And we gotta cure it somehow.
Yeah,
And that's either amend it or remove it, but we gotta do something.
right.
It obviously cause the source of consternation. We don't need to.
And then on the opposite, Nico's letter, if he had sent it as friends of Jackson, or friends of Beavers or something, as some people do, like, the landowners association, this wouldn't have been an issue, correct?
Yeah, I think you're right.
So in a way, does the current ambiguity encourage those kind of, blind items? So, the anonymous pot shots, as opposed to he identifies. Some people would see that as a virtue, but I can see where people would confuse, maybe the zoning board would politicize. And I want to thank Jill and Al for their service.
And welcome you guys to the board.
Yeah,
Yeah.
welcome to both of you.
Yeah,
Good luck.
thanks. And
Good time, Jan. Is there open for board comment?
I'd like to thank Al and Jill for your service. Al, I don't think we've ever worked together, so it's been a pleasure. Really has.
It's been a pleasure to be on the board and to work with all you people and especially the staff. I really took a look at what they were doing and they do an awful lot of work. And they're all conscientious and they're there when you need them. So I'd like to thank them and I'd like to thank the board for pleasant, and you too, Ken.
Thanks.
Pleasant experience.
yeah, it's been a great 4 years and onward to the next to you guys. So glad to have done what I did.
Kelly says, aw, ow.
Meeting reminders, the town board organizational meeting will be the 4th, 1 week from today, or 1 week from yesterday at 6:30 PM. And the town board regular meeting will be Tuesday, January the 11th at 6:30 PM. Any further comments from the board? Thank you. A motion to adjourn.
Move.
Made by Al, seconded by Jill. All in favor?
All right.
Aye, opposed.
And Al